Hello there and welcome back to the channel. This is Mel's Gaming here with another The Hunter Call of the Wild video. Now in today's video we are going to take a look at the trophies I've gotten in the first few days of Mississippi Acres Preserve release, and it's been really awesome, and we're going to waste no time getting into those trophies. As you can see, we are starting off here with a level 3 Cottontail rabbit. Now it is the females that make diamond for these guys, and I've honestly just been finding good rabbits by following the max weight tracks, and yeah, this one ended up being a level 3 and a diamond. Grey fur type, 2 scoring diamond with a weight of 2.02 kgs. What a beautiful looking animal. I really like these guys. I think they're really nice looking. Their ears are a little bit strange, but overall a really good addition to this map. And not only did I end up finding that level 3 by following some max weight tracks, I also found this, a diamond level 2 rabbit. So these guys can make diamond at level 2, and like I said, you are looking for the females for these guys. Diamond requirement is 1.90, so this one is right on diamond requirement. And yeah, the max weight track you're looking for is 2.10 kgs. And as I said, I've been following a lot of those tracks, including this one. That is a max weight estimate leucistic female cottontail rabbit track. Now this of course had me very excited. Max weight rare tracks are really awesome, but this was also my first ever leucistic cottontail rabbit. And she is a level 2, but with that 1 to 2 kg weight estimate there, and she does have 1 on the trophy score, so she does have a chance of being that 1.9 that you're looking for diamond. But managed to drop her there. Really beautiful looking animal with a lot of different colours in the fur. And I was just trying to get a nice background there for a screenshot. Leucistic gold cottontail rabbit. I think these guys are really beautiful. Look at how that fur shines. What a stunning looking little animal. I was so excited to finally find a rare one of these guys. As I said, I've been picking up a ton of tracks for them, hoping to find max weights of maybe different fur types, and also looking for the rares. And when I saw one of these guys get posted, I really wanted to get one just because they look so beautiful with that silvery colour coat. Absolutely stunning looking little critters. But moving on from cottontail rabbits to American alligators, and that right there is my first ever level 9 alligator. I unfortunately did spook him, and as I was sat waiting for this guy to resurface, I actually had this little encounter. This level 5 went defensive and then actually came over and had a snap at me, which was a pretty cool thing to see whilst I was just waiting for that 9 to pop back up. Now, he was actually in one of the lakes in the Gator Lakes area, and he did end up popping back up, and I was actually sat here waiting for him as he came towards me, and unfortunately another player came and got very close to the lake, and between me and that other player, with me trying to basically move around and ensure that he wasn't going to get shot by anyone else, he got spooked again, and as you can see, after that he did pop up again, but he is nervous on the far side of the lake. So I basically moved myself around into a better position so that he could come past me and go to the area where I'd seen that he'd been spooked from that second time. And as you can see, he came over and finally he went back to being calm and even did a mating call right in front of us there in the water, which is a really cool thing to see. And I thought that finally he was doing exactly what I needed him to do. I thought that right here he was going back onto land. And if you guys don't know, with gators you do want to shoot them on the land, as if they get into deep enough water they will sink if you've shot them, and you won't be able to get them back if they die down there. So you really do want to try and make a drop shot while they're on land just to make sure that you don't lose your trophy. I really thought he was going onto that land there, but unfortunately he ended up swimming away from the land again, and it said that he was resting calmly right in front of me. Honestly, the just sheer temptation to take some kind of shot when it's only 80 something meters away from you is insane. Finally, again, after a very long spell of waiting, he started heading back towards that patch of land. and you can see it actually says he's feeding there, which was really strange because he went from resting to feeding for about 10 minutes and then back to resting again, which was absolutely bizarre. I think it was because he was getting spooked a couple of times and it was messing with his zone times. It was very strange. But finally he did start going back towards that piece of land, and I could just make out his tail like as he was getting onto the land there. And so I backed up a bit, basically to make the reeds de-render a bit so I could actually spot him. And I could see him led there, right on the edge of the water, resting. Finally, he was in a position where if I was able to move around him, I should be able to get the shot that I'm needing. Now, like I said, you do want to make a drop shot. So basically you've got 3 options, which is brain, heart, or neck. And neck is my preferred shot, which you can see there. I managed to land a neck shot and drop him in his tracks. That had my heart racing. I sat there for a good minute or longer, just basically psyching myself up to take that shot. I was so incredibly nervous, and honestly, I love how challenging these gators are. It was just so much fun, and getting to pick him up. He is a diamond, 513.30, and you can see, got him right in the back of the skull where the neck meets the skull there, and that was more than enough to bring him down. Got him with the 7mm Empress, which is a rifle that I'm really enjoying using on the Gators, and I was just so relieved to finally have this guy down. It was over an hour of waiting and moving around trying to get an angle on him, just so much stuff, and with that other player being so close, it was insane. The amount of adrenaline from that hunt was awesome. Probably even about as much as getting a great one, maybe even a little bit more, because I knew I had to make that really precise shot. It was just so incredible, and it just solidified my love for the Gators in this game. So incredible, and this was actually my first diamond on the new map, was an American alligator, which I couldn't be more thrilled with, and he is a pretty big one at 513.30, and also being the dark brown colour, which is actually a really, really nice colour. I like it a lot. I couldn't have been more ecstatic. Absolutely incredible hunt. And yeah, like I said, big diamond when diamond requirement is 492. So 513 is a pretty big gator. I've seen bigger ones posted, but for a first ever gator, that diamond gator that is, I couldn't have been more happy. And I also ended up finding this. This was a track of a piebald male American alligator. Now, you guys probably already know based off of how much I've been saying it, but I have been desperate to start collecting the rares for American alligators. I want to collect all of the piebald variations, and I desperately want to get an albino and melanistic if I can. And I was pretty lucky that I actually picked up this track, and then I spotted this level 4, and the tracks actually stayed highlighted, so I knew that this was the piebald, even though it's almost impossible to see that he has any white markings on him in this particular lighting. But again, you can see me just being really cautious here to make sure I line up that shot, and I managed to get a neck shot. And you can see he does not go more than a couple of steps before he actually drops, and that is exactly what you want to see. And walking over to him to pick him up, he is the I believe people say it's the low white or low piebald variation from what I've been hearing. Basically, it's the pattern that doesn't have a lot of white actually on it. And unfortunately, he landed in just a tiny little bit of water, and it just did not want me to take a screenshot of his head actually going into the water there. But hopefully you guys can actually see what I mean about the fact that he doesn't have very much piebald, actual piebald pattern. There's a bit on his tail, a couple of other scales throughout his body, and I was just desperately trying to get some screenshots of him because this was my first ever rare for the American alligators. Now, I'm going to take this opportunity while I'm sort of faffing around here with the camera to say that some people are saying that the gators, for having the piebalds, but that basically the piebalds are more like an uncommon than a rare. I would very much disagree. After hunting these guys a lot since they released, I've only found a few piebalds. I would say it's more akin to something like grey geese, which are still technically classified as a rare, but they're not as common as, say, a piebald mule deer. So they are definitely still a rare, and I'm definitely still going to tax them because I think they look incredible. The models for these guys are stunning. I just don't know how much I can say it. I absolutely love the American alligators. 100% my new favourite species in the game. I know that that probably might come as a shock to some of you guys that have heard me talking about how much I love the deer species, because yes, I love big antlers, but the alligators just has something special. And not long after finding that piebald, I ended up in a bit of a weird situation. I ended up finding another level 9 gator, and it was in one of the really shallow areas, which I like to basically hunt most of the shallow areas for gators, just because it means that they have less of a chance of getting away if you do make a poor shot. And this guy was basically just running around back and forth in this little area, literally in a circle, and he wasn't going anywhere. And I basically decided, okay, there's only one thing that's going to happen here. I'm going to have to take a couple of shots at him, because he's not going away and going, nervous and then coming back calm so that I can get a neck shot. So I basically just took 2 pot shots there with the 7mm, both of which hit vitals and brought him down pretty quickly. I would never ever recommend doing that on a gator where they're fleeing normally, but this guy was fleeing in a circle. And you can see this guy does also make diamond at 508. So not quite as big as my first one. However, he is a different colour type. He is an olive. So definitely a nice one to get. And to get 2 diamond gators so quickly was so cool. And you can see I managed to get a double lung shot and then a single lung shot, which was enough to bring him down within plenty of time, considering he was just running around in a circle. Perhaps not the coolest and most tense way to get one, considering how I ended up hunting the first one, but still really, really awesome. And these guys just look so good. He's, like I said, he's not quite as big, but I want to get all of the different types for these guys as rares and commons. So for the commons, obviously I want to get the different common colours, which are the olive and the dark brown. So getting that one was really awesome. And moving on again to another piebald, I spotted this guy resting again at one of the gator lakes, and this was just so noticeable that this guy was a piebald. He stuck out like a sore thumb, and he was resting in a little bit of a weird place, and I'm going to show everything that happened here rather than editing it all out, because I think it really is important to highlight a couple of things and maybe help you guys with the gators as well with some of the stuff that I say. So you can see this guy is mainly out of the water, just a little bit of the top of his back and his head and neck showing. And I thought that this would be, okay to get a neck shot at. I thought that there would be no problem with him being a little bit submerged. But I take that first shot and you can see no health dropping there, nothing is happening. And of course that meant he went fleeing. Now I sat and waited a long time for him to come back up. And when he came back up, he had full health. So that first shot didn't hit him. It hit the water. So even if they're in a little tiny bit of water, your shot can be taken by that water. When he then came back and was resting, he was resting like this in the water. So I decided I would try and get a neck shot in there, and unfortunately it didn't happen. I managed to hit him in that shot at least, but it wasn't bringing him down. I did a time reset because at this point I had host of the server and waited a pretty good amount of time for him to come back up, and finally he was back over by the shore. I did actually intentionally alert him there because again he was resting in the water and I just wasn't risking anything else with this guy. I had one more shot to make it good. And you can see there he goes back attentive and then starts walking along the shoreline, which was actually a really good thing for me. I was glad to see him being on land rather than being in the water. And that shot obviously wasn't going to kill him. You can see he's stuck at 25 to 50% health. So I knew that I had more than enough time to wait for him to get into position and then I could try and get a final kill shot on him. And as he led here, mostly out of the water this time I would say, I finally managed to down him there instantly with a neck shot. And that was a big sigh of relief for me because I was very, very scared that I was going to lose this guy. And he has some insanely beautiful patterning. Just look at this creature. That is stunning. That olive colour skin with that white contrast is just stunning. The models for these guys, I cannot stress it enough. EW have done the most amazing job of making the alligators in this game something really stunning. And the amount of piebald variations, I am absolutely living for it. And of course, I said I wanted to collect them all, so this was another one for the piebald collection. So finally picking him up, let's take a look at what happened. So like I said, that first shot never hit him, because we can see there's only 2 shots there. That first shot that actually hit him, so technically the second shot that we took at him, was a touch low. You can see, because of the angle that he was sort of swimming, resting at in the water, sort of floating there, it was just a little bit low. I kind of misjudged it, and that was completely my fault. But the third shot, which was the last shot, you can see it got through the spinal cord, lower neck, and vertebrae. So that was a really, really solid last shot. And I thought I would include this because gators are hard to bring down. I didn't want people to think that I've had no issues at all. I have had missed shots and shots go wrong a couple of times. More often than not, I'm having a pretty decent success rate with them, but sometimes things go a little bit weird, and I'm still learning, the same as all of you guys, and hopefully my shots will only get better. And we are looking at another piebald here, and again this guy is resting in the water, so I had to try and line this shot up. Now, using what I'd learned from that other piebald, I knew a little bit better where to place a neck shot while they were actually sort of floating in the water like that with their heads up, and actually managed to land the neck shot on this guy. This is another low white, or not very piebald looking piebald gator, basically. If you guys know the exact terminology, if that is correct, that's basically what I've heard is low white or low pie. So yeah, let me know if that's correct down in the comments if you do have any real life experience, because I would really love to get it right. But I actually quite like this pattern. There's a lot more to it when you actually look at it in detail than maybe you see in screenshots, because they actually have almost a completely white lower jaw, which when displayed on the wall can look pretty impressive. So that's another piebald down. And I actually found that one whilst waiting for this particular gator to go calm. These guys were in the same server, and actually in the same server as one of the diamond rabbits. This guy is a piebald, but he is the very extreme piebald. It's almost completely white with just a couple of like flecks of green and brown in the actual pattern. Honestly, I wasn't sure when I first spotted this guy if he was an albino or the very extreme piebald. And that is a stunning looking gator no matter what. Just how cool does that look? A bright white gator just slinking around in the vegetation there. Absolutely incredible. Now, my first shot at this guy actually ended up hitting a twig. And I decided not to show that because it was basically almost impossible to see anyway because of where this guy chose to rest. But this second shot is actually going to be the one to bring him down. You can see he's resting there, and I actually managed to put a neck shot in him, and you can see he completely goes like limp there and flops right over, so we know we made that neck shot and that he's dead. And that was a relief because I was worried that I had, messed him up with that first shot, and I really didn't want to mess this one up. He is absolutely stunning. Look at the amount of white on this piebald, and he's actually got blue eyes. I noticed that the piebalds have different coloured eyes. Most of them have the greeny yellowy colour eyes, but this really extreme pattern one that's almost 90% white and like a little tiny little bit green has blue eyes, which I think is an incredible detail. And just what a stunning looking gator. All the different shades in those scales is beautiful. And picking him up, he is a silver piebald, and you can see got that shot into his neck, maybe a touch higher than I would have liked, but more than enough to bring him down. And of course, with these guys, you don't have to worry about hitting the skull or anything like that, as they don't have any trophy organs. So if you do decide that you want to go for brain shots, you are absolutely okay doing so. You do not have to worry about hitting them in the skull. You do need to make a vital hit, So neck, brain or heart is the way to go, and as I said, I prefer neck, and the way that I do it is keep it in the top third of that neck. If you keep it in the top third, it seems to more often than not hit its mark, and that's what I've been doing on all of the gators that I've tested it on. Basically that's what I'm looking for, is to keep it in the top third of the neck. And this guy will be no exception as he goes to rest here, as this is another level 5 piebald. And you can see, keeping that shot in the top third of the neck, and it gets him instantly. I am really enjoying the 7mm personally for the gators. It's a weapon that I've never used until the release, basically. I much preferred other weapons, but I find that the 7mm just feels really good on these guys, as it is a single shot, and if you do mess it up, there's basically no point at taking shots at a fleeing gator anyway, because you're probably going to either miss or end up, shooting it too many times if it's a diamond. I find that it's better to just wait and try and get that second shot when they're resting, or at least still again. And again, this is the low white or low pie variation for the gators, but still an absolutely stunning animal. And talking of stunning animals, look at what we have on screen. That is a level 9 grey fox. Now, I've ordered things a little bit differently in this video, but I can tell you that this was the second diamond I found on this map. After the American alligator, the second one I found was the grey fox, which is just absolutely insane. I did not expect to find this guy. I was just out running through the fields looking for quail and raccoons, and ended up seeing this grey fox going over a little ridge, and I spotted it thinking, oh, wouldn't that be funny if it was a legendary? And it just was. And I was like, excuse me, that actually is a legendary? And I spent such a long time tracking this guy, trying to get him to go into a place where I could finally take a shot at him, because I was not risking anything. The weapon that I have to take this guy down with is the 22 Hornet. I have bought all 3 variations of the 22 Hornet, as I am lucky enough to have plenty of money in game from all of the red deer and whitetail grinding. So I've bought all 3 variations, and I did have one of them out, and this was the weapon that I had to take this guy with. And I knew that it wasn't very good at really over 100 meters, so I didn't want him to be any more than 100 really for me to take this shot. And you can see he ended up going nervous, walking towards me. So what I did was jump up a little bit, make him go alert, in hopes that he would actually stop and give me a broadside shot. I was not risking messing up this trophy. To find a level 9 grey fox so early on was a complete and utter shock to me. What a stroke of luck. And this is why I jumped straight into multiplayer, because everyone's servers that are open at the minute pretty much are still pretty new, and animals like this have not been found yet on those servers. And that's exactly what happened with this guy. And finally, he stopped there in the open, gave me a broadside shot, and after that shot his health started to drop pretty quickly, so I knew that I'd made the vital hit. They always seem to land with their front legs really spread like this, but hopefully you guys can see how detailed the models are. They are stunning. I'm getting a nice, kind of clean background there with the grass. He is a diamond, 6.50, so a good 0.1 over diamond, because 6.4 is actually the requirement. And I took him with the 22 Hornet at just over 40 meters, which is pretty insane for my first ever diamond grey fox to be in to be so quick. Like, this was the same day as the gator, and then just to get it with the 22 Hornet and just everything, it was just so cool. What a stunning animal. The grey fox are really beautiful. It's a shame that in the harvest screen they've got really thick looking whiskers for some reason, but they are stunning. Quickly becoming one of my favourite animals in the entire game. And I'm going to say that because I'm totally in love with this map. It's one of the maps that I've always wanted in this game, and I love everything about it. Every species on here I just love this entire map. But you can see 3.81 kilometer tracking distance before this guy went anywhere where I had some kind of line of sight. And sticking with foxes for the last clip of this video, I found this earlier today. That is the track of a leucistic female grey fox. This is one of the rares for these guys that I was particularly excited to find, and she is a beauty. What a stunning looking animal. Just look at that as she walks away. That sort of blonde colour fur on a fox just looks incredible. Just so beautiful. And she's a decent size being a level 5 female. So again, I tracked her for a long way, hoping that I could actually make a proper vital hit on her. And you can see she's just walking away through the trees there. So I was trying to get her to go alert the same as I did with the diamond male earlier. And she did go alert. And just as she stopped there, I saw a window of opportunity to get a chest shot in. And as she runs towards us, you can see how pale yellow she is. And she goes down that tree there and drops. And again, second trophy grey fox down with the 22 Hornet. Look at the colour of her. Isn't that beautiful? The leucistic grey foxes are one of the most stunning rares on this map, alongside the albino gators and the piebald foxes. They look insane. And it's mainly the rares on this map that have me excited. And I didn't expect to bag myself a leucistic level 5 female grey fox that quickly. So I already have a diamond and a rare for the foxes, which is not what I expected at all, and I am extremely thankful. Multiplayer is paying off really well. I still need to check my own map out and see what's on there when all the multiplayer servers quieten down a little bit, but at the minute there is just multiplayers open and they're all fresh, so I'm going through them and getting as many trophies as I can before they start to get really thoroughly hunted by other people. And this is one of my favourite trophies that I've had off this new map so far, as well as a couple of those piebald gators and that first ever diamond. It's been an insane couple of days. I honestly can't believe how well the luck has been paying off with just getting really cool trophies so far. I'm so incredibly grateful and so incredibly lucky. And yeah, that is going to be it for this video, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. The next few videos will be on Mississippi, of course, trying to get as many trophies as possible. So, yeah, that's just, I can't believe it. I'm so thankful. So thank you so much for all your support as always, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.